Good evening and hi there everyone. I'm Lillian Muli. It's good to have you with us as we ask the question, why do men cheat? I know women cheat too, but the people making news right now are mostly men, and behind that cheating man is a woman that's hurting. Tonight we want to talk sex, men, relationships and marriage. We put a great panel together tonight to answer your questions, and my guest in studio tonight, Kendi Ashitiva. She's a media personality, and this is her. She's probably not a stranger to you. You've seen her on your screens before. And this is a Facebook post that she put up on her Facebook the other day. She said, "Dear Lord, create in me a clean heart towards my husband. Remove all areas of pride, resentment, anger, and unforgiveness. Deal with frustration, disappointments, and regret. Heal any past, present, and future hurt, and help me be the wife you want me to be." That's Kendi. That's what she posted earlier. And also with us in studio tonight is Reverend Kathy Kuna of JCC Kenya, and she'll also be talking about relationships with us tonight. Reverend Kathy Kuna is here with us in studio, and you know she's been very vocal about relationship issues, and here she says a house is not built by sex or looks, a house is built by wisdom. Reverend Kathy Kuna with us in studio as well this evening. Also with us is Jerry Mushero. She's a lawyer and writer, and she will be talking to us tonight. And Jerry said earlier, this is a post that she had put up in one of her posts previously. She said, "If that were my daughter, I would be thankful for the shower of shame that has been rained on her, because I would be assured that she would think twice before agreeing to have sex with a married man." Jerry is a writer, and those were her views concerning ladies who are in relationships with married men. Also with us tonight is life coach Laimani Bidali. You know Laimani. She's also not a stranger to your screens. And here Laimani is quoted saying a woman's beauty is not in her skin color or her clothes or her body size or her figure or her hair. No makeup can ever make her or cover her intriguing, fascinating and captivating womanhood. And of course, there you have it. That is Laimani with us in studio this evening. So a great panel we have here. We're looking for answers, and I hope your individual experiences collectively will be able to give us those answers. Use the hashtag #1on1 to talk to our panel this evening, or SMS us using SMS number 22422. Last week we had a male panel in studio, ladies, and I want to start with you, Laimani. Why do men fool around all the time, or at least why is that the impression that every time women sit at chamas or sit to talk to with their friends, they say, you know what, I'll wait, I'll see how this relationship goes, but at the end of the day, I know he'll cheat on me. That's what men are known to do. Is that correct? Is that an unfair statement?
It's an unfair statement, because not all men cheat, and there are great guys out there. And it's about the kind of it's about the beliefs that we have created amongst us as women. Because if I'm looking for evidence that the guy I'm with is cheating, I'll definitely find it. And then because everything he says will be leading to or alluding to that he is cheating. So I think it's such an unfair statement. It's too generic. You can't just place it on every man and every guy and say all men cheat, because no woman, no matter how amazing she is, has been able to date every man on this planet. So she cannot be conclusive about it. So I think it's unfair, and we think we need to start looking for looking out for guys who are upright, guys who are men of integrity, guys who are men of honor, because they are out there, and begin to talk more and more about them too.
Reverend Kathy, let me ask you, to what extent, because Laimani said if you go looking for answers, you'll find them. So to what extent should a woman go if she has her doubts? And usually people say trust your instincts. So to what extent should you go to, snooping over the phone, going through his clothes, receipts and what have you? There are people who go to an extreme of hiring PIs. So to what extent, if the doubt is there, if you actually know there's weird phone calls coming in late at night, this guy can't explain his movements during the day, to what extent should a woman go to actually find out if there's something going on?
A woman, first and foremost, needs to have security in herself, because you see people as you are. So if you're fighting within yourself, you need to be secure enough to know if that's your husband, you need to sit down and talk to him. Don't imagine, don't start thinking, because you know, like Laimani says, if you start thinking things, you will think things, and the mind can take you to places untold. So I believe if that's your husband, you need to sit down and tell him, hey, you know what, I'm having doubts, there's an issue here, and we need to sit down and sort it. When we got married, this was the agreement, and this has to be. I've seen something, and I'll say this. I had a man say one time that women are the ones who allow their men to do whatever it is that they want. If a man is going to come home in the morning, you're married, he's going to come home in the morning, and you're just going to smile and say, honey, how was your night? You know, tomorrow he's going to come after 2 days. Then, I mean, you give him room to do whatever it is that he wants. But if the first day you're going to sit down and say, hey, no, I didn't sign up for this, let's talk, what's going on. And so I believe the woman needs to take her position as the owner of that home and begin to bring things in order, because a relationship cannot be made by one party. So you need to sit down and say, I'm not a fool, I can see there's something off, and I need us to deal with it now.
And I'll be getting to Candy shortly, but Jerry, I know you've written extensively on infidelity and what your thoughts are on that. So what should a married woman do, and not even a married woman, perhaps even somebody who's about to get married, to somebody, if you find out beyond reasonable doubt that indeed this person has not even one but multiple partners aside from you, what should your reaction be?
I think the important thing to realize is that there's no manual. There's no manual anywhere written as to what a woman is supposed to do when she catches her man dogging. There's no manual. You just see it happen and you react. Whether you kill him or you stay with him, it's anybody's guess, even your own. You're not in control because your emotions go very high and you really cannot be able to think properly. Somebody who is in such a situation should not be left to decide for themselves what to do. Never.
So seek help?
You need to seek help. You need to round up a group of your closest friends. Share your story with them. Don't keep it to yourself. Talk. Round up your group of friends, talk to them about it, let them support you, let them give you ideas. But the truth of the matter is, ultimately, it's your decision.
Right.
It's you who has to decide.
And ladies, please feel free to just jump in if you disagree with something that somebody is saying. But Candy, friends like Jerry here is saying, friends have been known to mislead. And last week when I talked to the guys, they said, look, nowadays you find, you know, a group of 4 women, a panel like us, sitting, you know, in a pub and catching pints, and that has become the norm. So, you know, how to know who to go to in an I mean, there's life coaches like Laimani here, there's Reverend Kathy Kuna here, but how to know who to confide in when you're married, when you have a relationship that you respect, because most girls nowadays will tell you, I wouldn't take that, I wouldn't even accept that as a norm in my own life, and yet they don't have men. So what route to take?
I hear you, and I think on this panel I'm the youngest on the panel, and for me I have deliberately chosen great older godly women to surround myself with, women that are not just for me but are for me and my husband. They want us to grow. So I'm deliberate about who am I going to tell my marriage things. I don't just tell anyone, because not everyone can handle my story, not everyone can handle my pain, not everyone can handle where I'm going. So I deliberately choose which of these older women do I admire. Which of them can cover me? Which of them do I trust actually have my back? Which of them do I know will not talk about me with other women? So I have those women, and they've kept me sane. I kid you not. I think I would have done ridiculous things by now. So as a young woman, I think for me, just being able to identify the good, godly, older women in my life, or even seeking them out. At times going out and saying, you know what, I think I need help in this area, has added so much value. And even the issue of a man who's having an affair, I think there's something to be said about marriages being restored after an affair, because I've seen marriages that have gone haywire after an affair, but counseling came in and the man was like, by the way, what was I doing? I think I can work on this marriage. So besides just throwing the baby with the bathwater, there's something to be said about fighting for a marriage to work.
And I want to get your perspectives on like Candy's post there earlier where she says, you know, teach me how to be a beautiful wife, and even you, Rev, where you say, I'm so lucky to have you, the best man. And critics would have it that you're putting your relationship out there, and then the skeptics, who are women who are hurting and who are divorced or who are really dealing with so much drama in their relationships, are thinking, why is your relationship so perfect? Why me? Why am I dealing with so much? And why does this woman look like she has it all together, and yet we're the same?
The first thing, in fact, that is going on in my head right now, I'm wondering, Lillian, do we even have conversations about whether we or not you're going to have monogamous relationships? Because you know, nowadays I hear there are many types of marriages, but if you didn't know it, you can decide to have an open marriage. What kind of a marriage? The fact that the person has proposed does not mean that they are going to be monogamous if you have not discussed it. So it's only later that the person comes and says, how could you do this to me? But was it ever part of the conversation? Are we secure enough, to use Reverend Kathy's words, are we secure enough to be able to bring up that conversation and say, let's talk about the kind of relationship I'm expecting from you, and I'm expecting for us to have. Most of it is normally assumed and presumed, but it's never quite.
And back to what I asked you, Reverend, you do not feel that they call it an illusion of happiness, and what skeptics would say that, okay, but then, you know, you're a Christian, I don't necessarily look at things that way, I'm just a realist. The Bible works for you, it doesn't necessarily work for me, so I'm not really going to use that as the basis of how I'm going to define the direction my life is taking.
I think it's very, very important, first and foremost, to know who you're married to, and you know, skeptics and people who will talk against you and all, they're always there. Haters will always be there, and you don't put it out there so that you can attract anybody. You're actually just doing it as it's from the inside. You see, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you're actually speaking what is on the inside of you. You're so excited, and you want the whole world to know. You know what I'm saying? And if it can help somebody, like those particular statements have helped so many people to wake up and know, wait a minute, mine too can work. And many, like, I love what she said about finding out how she can get help. Now, that is what is lacking, Lillian, in our society. Nobody wants to go out there and ask, how did yours work? Like, for instance, you put out something like that, like, I love my husband, you know, and we are having a good time and stuff like that. Now, if somebody's marriage is struggling, this is what I would expect them to do. To look for this reverend that has written that and ask her, how did you make it? Do you understand? Then I would say, this is what I've done, and this and that and the other. And actually, it's very biblical to go and seek help and ask questions. People don't ask questions. They hate on. And I go back to how I began. People don't see you as you are. They see you as they are. So if somebody is hurting and angry, you put out something that's nice and exciting, they're like, whatever.
I want to talk about, let me ask you a question. You say it's important to know who you marry. Mostly you don't know until you marry them. I mean, because when you're just so excited, and then the person is proposing, you're like, oh, this is the person. It's only later you're like, anyway, now I bet you're still getting to know your husband.
Absolutely. And you never get to, by the way, till the end, till you die, there's always some, you know, you always get to discover somebody, you know, until the very end. But that's the beauty of a relationship, isn't it? To uncover, discover, I mean, that's the beauty of a relationship.
But are there early, you know, like telltale signs where you can tell, like, because right now we have a fantastic platform right here. There are girls who are watching and they're saying, when you say, know who you're marrying, please give them like even three things they can look out for.
Find out. For me, it's very, very important for a man to first and foremost have accountability. If he doesn't have accountability, that's a kind boy.
But you know that with that issue of boys, that's another one now.
You know, one thing I think is very important
is don't have sex before marriage.
Yeah.
It's
complicated.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
Because now you don't know whether it's feelings or, you know, I mean, it's kind of
I think
but accountability is number one.
Yeah.
Like there is somebody you can run to in case of madness.
Yeah.
There is somebody do you understand? If you don't have accountability, I tell you that's a lethal weapon right there. It's actually looking for an accident to happen. So that
How do you differentiate between accountability and his boys?
His boys are not accountability.
Even if they hardly ever will.
What is accountability? Let me ask you. I was very close to my mother-in-law, you know, and it's her I went to when things went bad. And then she told me that her son is grown up and he can make his own decisions and there's nothing
for me, accountability when it comes now to parents, obviously the mother is bound to side with the child.
Okay.
Even
so what is there
for me, like an authority, you know, somebody you look up to.
I went to senior lawyers. I talked to them. I told them, please, can you talk to this guy? They talked to him, but it made no difference.
So which are the other
He has to be the one who has said this is the part. You see, accountability is actually a choice that you make, that I'm going to humble myself and ask questions, and I'm going to come down and be able to tell this person, this is what I'm going through. It's actually a choice that you make. And so you have to have somebody who has made a choice. I am going to be accountable. Then you can be able to run.
Is a cheater really a person who has made that choice to be accountable?
Somebody has decided to be a cheater. Now that's a different, we are talking about a different ballgame.
Okay, so as we move the conversation along, what are the other 2 pointers like Laimani asked? What are the other 2 things that you should look at?
Accountability.
Important.
Check his relationship with his mother, especially, because if that guy didn't have any respect for his mother, chances are he won't have any respect for you.
What's the line there?
That one I checked very well. And he loves his mother. Yes.
And the third one? The third one.
And the third one, the treatment. Is he secure in himself? Is he somebody that is secure? Because again, women are marrying very insecure men, and an insecure man wants to dip his something in every woman because he's insecure.
Let's talk about you know, this thing that women call competition, and there's a tagline on Twitter that's so disturbing, and even on Instagram, tag your sponsor. Money, you know, seems to be the ultimate aphrodisiac. So you're married, but you knew this man when he lived in a little SQ, and now that, you know, he's driving these big guzzlers, he's a CEO, all of a sudden he's in very high demand. So the money, you know, issue and how to, because men, you know, and the ones that were in studio last week said, look, we want validation. You still see me from the days that I was living in that little house, and now, you know, I've grown, and you really don't seem to, we're not evolving together, we're not growing together pretty much. Jerry, Kendi, let me hear from you.
I think just to reiterate what she said, a marriage works if the man wants it to work. That's important. You can only fight for a marriage if both of you want it to work. But if the woman wants it to work and the man doesn't want, even if you roll on the ground, go up and down, see every mother under the sun, he will not, because the man must want the marriage to work. And secondly, I think this issue of money, it depends. How is the man socialized? If he's socialized to believe I'm only worth it when I'm with women, no amount of money will make him happy. It's how he sees himself. If his validity comes from 3, 4, 5 women, even if he's broke, he's going to have 3, 4, 5 women. It's how he sees himself.
Do you agree, Jerry? Do you agree?
I'm very confused because I don't understand the chemistry that works. Let me give you a short story. I actually met my ex-husband's girlfriend about several months ago, and she's not a receptionist anymore. Now she's a lawyer. She graduated with a first-class law degree from Catholic University.
Hello.
Yeah. And as fate would have it, we ended up in the same car. And then all of a sudden she started crying, and she said she's so sorry for what she did, and she was really hurt. And I told her I forgive her, and she should not even think about it.
So they're not even together now?
It's over. No, they're together. She's employed in his law firm now.
Okay.
She's the junior lawyer in his law firm. So then I told her, you know, if you really need to talk about this, you know, a bit more, you can give me a call, because then we dropped her off and she went to the office. Then she called me and we had a meeting and we made peace. She told me about herself, about her sisters, her mom. She told me about her relationship with my ex-husband and how it's going well, and, you know.
And what were you feeling?
I was just thinking that the fact that she cried and she apologized was good enough for me. It was an answered prayer, and it's been so long. I've been separated from my husband for 3 years now, so it wasn't such a big deal, but it gave me hope. I thought that actually they do have a good relationship. She was 19 when they met. He was 43.
Wow.
Now she's 24. He's 48.
Okay. But there's no way you'll ever be friends, though. That was just closure.
Well, now it seemed that she was fishing for information from me.
Okay.
Because now the next thing I got is a phone call from my husband, my ex-husband, asking me, what am I doing talking to her? I should break it off immediately. What am I thinking? And then, you know, I had told her that I don't have a problem them getting married. Even he can introduce her to the children, because I was thinking maybe she's the one who's going to make him settle down, you know. For the sake of my children, I would like their father to be settled, you know, and to be responsible.
So back to Njeri, this is a 43-year-old man, ladies, and a 19-year-old, and it brings me to the question of intimacy. And the fact that a lot of women, the older women, are asking, what is it what is it that I'm doing wrong? If it's the gym, I'm hitting the gym. If it's cooking, I'm cooking. I mean, the usual.
There's nothing
So women are asking, what exactly is intimacy, and are we not fulfilling our men at home? Why do they even feel the need to chase these 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 21, for those of them who do?
First and foremost, let me backtrack a little and say, concerning money, money is the number one that is dropping marriages like crazy. But money assumes the character of the person. I didn't want to forget that, because money in the hands of a good person is beautiful. It works very well. Now let's go to your question. I have dealt with many men and women in counseling, and this is what they say, that when their husbands went out with this younger person and stuff like that, it was nice in the beginning, and you know, after a while, because there's always that ego thing. I think when a man, you know, when a man imagines that a little girl is actually even interested in him, the ego kicks in, and many of them fall because of ego. Okay, but later on it always catches up with them. Like the age gap, it depends on how old the person is. I have had, a week ago I counseled with a woman who was telling me, I wish I knew, because I married my husband, we are 20 years apart. Now I look at him like my father, and I look at him like this old man. We even have nothing in common. Even when we are going out, when we are doing things, we are so far apart. It's like a father and a daughter. It's not like a husband and a wife.
And Laimani, you're a life coach, and when women come to you for counseling and they talk about the sex and the fact that it's non-existent because, you know, women are getting menopausal very early in life, and this guy's sex drive is perhaps at an all-time high at that time, the sex conversation, how do you deal with that? The fact that, you know, we're not at par. I'm not who I used to be. I'm not feeling that way right now. Can sex keep a man? Is sex important? Is sex just a physical act, or is there more to intimacy?
There's a lot more to intimacy than sex, and by the time the sex is suffering, there are many other elements in that relationship. In that relationship that have been suffering. The communication must have broken down a long time ago. The person must have started feeling, having feelings of low self-esteem a long time ago. There are so many issues that have been swept under the carpet and never been addressed because the woman was trying to be a good woman. You know, this whole idea about a good woman does not talk, doesn't, you know, bring up issues. You just, you know, there's even say you just shut up and, you know, keep things inside. That by that time, of course, you don't want someone to touch you because there's a lot that has not been addressed. So by the time we are talking about in fact, when I'm dealing with women, I rarely speak about sex, because a woman who is healthy and whole and wholesome will automatically express herself in her marriage that way, including her sex and her sexuality. So you can't cancel someone purely on in the area of sex. You've got to go deeper and find out what else is she dealing with and what else is not right in the relationship.
I want to read out some of the comments that are coming in. Somebody here is saying, hi, my husband has recently had a child in another marriage. I only have daughters, and the lady gave birth to a son, and because of that, you know, she just seems to feel like she has lost him. So the baby mama issue and the baby mama drama, and women asking, is my is a relationship that I have invested in for 25 years worth throwing away over a child that has been born out of wedlock? Ladies, your thoughts?
I think it's up to the woman. I think, do we at times give the men too much power? I think at times we do. You decide what you want. You are worthy of love and affection. You are a powerful human being. I don't understand why we think we have to just go with the flow.
I think you're saying that's unforgivable.
No, I'm not saying it. I just think...
Actually, it is. I believe what you're saying is that you decide.
Yeah.
You decide. Can I deal with this?
Exactly.
Can I handle this? And if you can't, you know, there's nothing that should warrant divorce. I mean, it should be the last resort. It should be the very last thing. And I don't
agree with that,
isn't it? And I actually don't think any woman on earth wants to walk out. I always say that when you look at Lot's wife, she looked back and became a pillar of salt. I actually don't blame her, because a woman's home is her security, is her comfort, is everything. So to be shattered and to walk out, it takes every fiber of that woman's strength and being. So it's a difficult thing. So it really comes back into, can I be able to live with this? Can I forgive this?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it depends on every individual. Everybody reacts differently. Somebody may rise up and say, ain't nobody got time for this. Somebody else may say, well.
And Jerry, I know you have written extensively about your relationship with your ex-husband. So for the women who are considering separation, life after that for you, of course, Reverend Kuna here is saying that, you know, divorce should really be the last option. But for you, life on the other side, I mean, you were really used to this cocoon where you were with this man who you had children with, and now starting all over again, literally. For those who are on that brink where they're like, I'm so done, is it something that you would advise people to do? Should they fight a little bit harder to save their marriages, would you say?
Well, I'd say that I fought for my marriage for about a year, and it was only when I realized that my sanity was under threat, because I actually got admitted in hospital because of depression. That's when I thought, this is not going to work. I have 3 children. I had a very small baby then when he was 5 months old when I was hospitalized.
Wow.
So really, I thought to myself, it's either me or him. So I decided that I have to deal with me, and I have to sort myself out. And then I left. I ran away, actually. I took the children and I just ran away to my mom's house. And I just said, that's it.
What about the women?
Now I am in heaven.
Okay, now you're in heaven.
I am.
But what about the women who don't have the financial clout that you perhaps had, that you could go out there, get a house? A lot of women stay because they don't have the money, they don't know where to take the kids. You go to your mom or your father and they tell you, please go back to your husband, and that has been known to happen. What about those women?
Yeah, those women are in very difficult situations, and you know, unless we women come together and decide how we can be able to help those women, those women are suffering. Let me tell you, my story is nothing. My husband is like an angel in the world of cheaters. I'm telling you, because there are men who are known to bring their girlfriends into the matrimonial bed.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean? I mean, it's really bad. Now imagine that happening to you and you don't have a coin.
Then
you have to actually sleep in that bed.
We go back into knowing yourself.
Yeah.
If you know yourself, there are things you will not take.
Yeah.
There are things
you can't even go and live in a paper bag. That's what. I think than be in a marriage like that one.
I want to challenge that statement. I have nowhere to go.
That's
really true.
And I do nothing.
I have nowhere to go. I have nothing to do. I think that's a false perception we have of ourselves. Everyone has an option. Everyone.
But let me interject and say that anybody who is suffering abuse or mistreatment at home, they really do not have the mental state,
Okay.
to be able to think and calculate. Let me tell you, without God, I would not have made it out of there. Without God, I would not have. I was going to be finished, kabisa.
And again, He is the source of our strength. If you know that God loves you, because that's actually the bottom line.
In fact, that's it.
If you know that God loves you, you start to accept yourself, because you realize you're lovable, you're valuable, and you're competent. If you know that you're loved of God, I tell you, you jazza yourself like this.
And that validation is so important. That self-validation. Somebody say it's a fallacy to imagine that men and women are the same. A man here is saying, please stop competing with us. Don't think that because we cheat that, you know, there's an explanation for that. In other words, just accept us as we are, relate with us as we are, and, you know, learn to deal with it. But women are hurting out there like money. So what's the way forward? We want to be in healthy relationships. We don't want to age so low. So going forward, women are asking how to deal with this circus, because it's becoming a circus now.
Yeah, and first and foremost, that thing of aging solo, it's not a guarantee. Even if you're married and happily married, that is going to age you. You're born alone. You're born alone and you live this other. It's not a guarantee. But where do we start from? The first thing is for the woman to be able to work on herself, to be able to activate her self-worth and her self-value. Once you know who you are and whose you are, then you can see clearly what your next steps are. I don't think we can be able to give a blanket solution to everybody and say, if in that situation, please leave tonight, because where are they going? As girls are going to sleep in our beds, where are those? They need to they need to first work on themselves, because when you're in pain, you cannot see anything. All you just see is pain. And if you make any decision when you're in pain, you'll make very painful decisions. So it is important that she first works on herself, works on her self-value, gets to know who she is, and then she can see clearly where she's going. I'm amazed by women who I meet who say to me, you know, for me, I planned for like 3 years, you know, and the day that she was ready, she just upped, and she said, she blessed a person, and she was away. But there are also some people who are in a crisis situation where their lives or their children's lives are under threat. And I think in under such circumstances, our law protects them as well. You can actually go and report the matter if your children are threatened, if this person is abusing the children as well, and also there's violence in the home. You can't, because you won't live to even work on yourself. You'll be dead. So I think the first thing is to also protect your life and protect the life of your children.
Jerry, as we go around the table, for you who has been through such a traumatizing experience and you now work with women, how to not carry that baggage, how to not transfer that baggage to your children and to your future relationships, because you're young, you're beautiful. The assumption would be, and my hope would be, that you plan to because the guys in studio last week said, you know, get your heart broken 1,000 times over. Your Prince Charming is out there. Don't get tired. So for you, how did you manage not to carry, or do you still have that baggage with you? How are you faring so far?
You know, I would tell you that the only way I manage not to carry baggage is by surrounding myself with my family, my brothers, my sisters, my mom, and joining a church that really stands for what the Bible says. Yeah, that really helped me a lot. Another thing that helped me is that I had a job and I work, and so I'm out there meeting people, and my clients were so supportive. Oh my God, they were so supportive, you know, and they still are even now. You know, I have clients who call me up and ask me, Jerry, what are you doing for Easter? And I tell them, oh, I don't have a plan. Well, you and your children, you're going to Masai Mara. And they pay everything, and we go to Masai Mara.
We should get those.
And I'm like, oh my God, you know. And I believe that all this is God's favor. If you turn to Him, when you're really, really broken, He will heal your wounds completely, and you will forget anything that happened. And I prayed and I told God, I want to forget what happened to me, because I want my children to see me happy. I want to see them, I want them to see me talking to their dad like we are friends, which we do now, you know, he gets to see the children, you know, and I mean, he comes for their birthday parties, and you know, we're fine now, you know, and God is everything. Let me tell you, surround yourself with Him, read His Word, you know, replace all that baggage in your head with the Word of God. Just it cleanses and renews your mind in ways that you'll never imagine. I used to have so many ideas about where my husband is, what he's doing, who he's with. Then I'll have graphic ideas about what they're doing. It's just it's tormenting. It's tormenting, I tell you.
And thanks for sharing the vicious cycle of cheating. And somebody here saying that, you know, for my sanity, I left my cheating husband because I started cheating too. That, you know, she said he left me no option but to start cheating, and so it becomes a vicious cycle. And there's the whole, you know, conversation about HIV and STIs and what have you, and the children as well, and the fact that mommy is never home, daddy is never home. We're both out partying until 6 a.m. or we disappear all weekend. The babies are being raised by the nannies. Your response to that?
She and any other woman should never have to say, he made me do it. Because nobody can make you cheat.
That's very true.
Two wrongs don't make a right. And it depends again on what you think about yourself. If you're going to go out there and cheat because somebody cheated, it means you have no value for yourself. You have no ethics, and there's nothing you put in place where character is concerned. So it's a personal thing where you decide, cheat all you want, I'm not living like this, but for me, I'm not going to go out there and become a cheat and be sleeping with everybody to validate myself. It just shows that you don't know who you are. And that's a sad bit when it comes to women. Women must know who they are and then put value on themselves. Because if you put value on yourself, you're not going to go cheating or allowing yourself to just be a cheat person. You need to really uphold yourself and know, I am a child of God. I am loved. I am lovable. You know, a man to love you is not a favor. He's not doing you a favor. In fact, the Bible says whoever finds a wife, it doesn't say about you finding the man. It says whoever finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor before the Lord, meaning that you bring favor to the table. If a woman knows that, she won't be moved.
But I also want to blame society, because society has condoned promiscuity to a level where now cheating is really nothing.
Like the norm?
It's the norm.
It's supposed to be accepted. It's the power of suggestion.
You go out somewhere and then somebody tells you, oh, that's so-and-so's clan day. You know,
and like Mami said something when we started. She said about the cheating. There's something you said.
But to be fair, I think for that lady who said the husband made her cheat, I think it is pain that made her cheat. And pain can make a woman do crazy things. Pain is what makes women burn themselves and their children. So I think once you've gone through any kind of betrayal or deceit or anything, deal with the pain. The pain is a problem. Deal with the pain, then you'll be able to see yourself clearly. But if you say, I'm fine, I'm gonna use this pain as a shield, I'm a strong woman, I can do battle by myself, that is the deception from the pit of hell. You're gonna destroy yourself. So deal with the pain, get help. I love what you said, get help. Let people come around you and, you know, it's okay, honey, let's get help.
But you know, I remember somebody gets so isolated.
I just remember she said that we need to change the perspective of the things that we've been talking about men. She said we need to change, because you see, the society knows they are cheats, but there are good men out there. There are good men. I know many. I know many. And I live with one.
There are good men out there. There's another man who shocked me the other day when he was telling me his wife had a baby and he has been at home for 3 days, not leaving, just taking care of his wife.
Let's take your live tweets as we begin to close. And already somebody is saying, help, my anger is costing my relationship. I'm 32, yet I have no prospective relationship. Anonymous from Kakamega. Somebody here is saying there's less HIV among Muslims than Christians because they live as per the instructions of God through Moses. I've been unhappily married. You can still age alone. I was married for many years but was widowed. That echoes what Laimani here says. And Jerry said you're born alone. So Lillian asked Jerry if she'll go back to her husband because they said they meet and talk. That's a story for another day. Let's take your let's take your tips. A good word for the girls going for sponsors. One day I will catch up with you. It will catch up. It will wow. Okay. Somebody saying loving this women and relationship at Reverend Kathy Kuna, my all-time role model. Thank you for that. And somebody saying men cheat with women. Ever thought about women's role in all this? Wow. Yeah. And when a man listens much to his mother, that is the beginning of trouble in marriage, but he has to respect her. That's natural. And before you get engaged to a man, ensure you know what they carry in their wallets and backpacks. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So ladies, we're closing. So a lot of ladies, you know, are seeking the refuge in chamas, alcohol, men and affairs and what have you, sex toys. I'm sorry, but it is true. Pornography. So as we close, ladies, maybe from one or two of you, Laimani, I know you're a life coach. Perhaps just give some hope to the ladies who are writing and who say they're in a lot of pain, who say, as we speak, they don't even know where their husbands are. It's the weekend, so the next time they see this guy will probably be on Tuesday or on Monday, and if it's a public holiday, maybe Wednesday. So, yeah. Wow.
Oh, I mean, that's tough, but also sometimes I also think some Christian men disappear like that, but they go for occasions. Hopefully. Okay. All right. I think there's a lot of hope for women. It's about, I go back to really working on yourself as a woman, so that you can be able to know even what are your values, what are your truths, what are your principles, what are your non-negotiables in a relationship, what are some of the places where you can say these are give and take. And for example, when someone tells you I was working late, when did you stop believing when they told you that? Because and saying don't lie to me. How do you know they were lying? Right now you're working, and I mean, we are here. If I told someone I was in a studio, they'd be like, why you don't like me? Don't think I'm a fool. But honestly, this is where I am, you know. So sometimes when someone tells you this is who I am, this is where I am, it's important for us to believe them, and also what you're looking for you'll find. But at the same time, it is important for, I'll go back to working on ourselves. And something else that you said, or someone said on the tweet there, they said women are the ones, men are cheating with the women. Women need to look out for each other. And for me, that's why I also started Udada, the Udada movement. It's about how can we as women change how we view each other, so that we stop competing with each other. None of us looks the same here, but you're so beautiful, such amazing women, and we all bring different value in our different relationships. So there's nothing to compete with when it comes to another woman. So let's see each other as sisters. Yeah. And we are closing now with the permission of my director. It's just a one-liner, Kevin. Jerry, you know, a mistress basically came into your marriage. So your word to mistresses, the ladies that are destroying people's homes just because, you know, they just want a little bit of fun, or their rent paid, or their fees paid.
Well, a one-liner. I think it will catch up with them. It will catch up with them. At some point, they're going to have to pay for it, yeah? And just to close, let me say that when my husband called me and I had spoken to his mistress, or his girlfriend or partner, whatever she is now, he told me that he doesn't love her. You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, if you don't love her, why did you break our marriage? He said he loves his children and he would do anything for them. And I thought to myself, then why did you break our home? You know, but you know, we'll never get the answers. We really never will.
Bam, for the aching hearts out there tonight, Reverend Kathy Kuna, just a one-liner as we move to Kendi and Coast.
There is healing. Jesus Christ comes with the healing balm of Gilead. He is able to heal. And what I can advise you is whatever you do, go out there, get some counseling. Don't die alone. Don't sit back and just wallow in self-pity. Self-pity has never healed anyone. You need to come out, go get some help. And that is why we also have the Daughters of Zion meetings every last Saturday of the month, and we deal a lot with this kind of issues, just to be able to help the women deal with the wounds and heartaches. So you don't need to die out there. You don't need to sit back and feel sorry for yourself. Get out and look for help.
Right.
Help.
Thank you for that. And finally, Kendi, you're fairly young, newly married. For the girls who are getting married, breaking up their marriages after 6 months, even 2 months, and then reverends like Kathy here will ask, then why even bother? The institution of marriage is becoming a big joke because people are getting in and out of it. But then there are those who have valid reasons why they feel they cannot be in such relationships.
I think let's put our value on relationships. Let us value relationships. Value your husband. Being married is a good thing. I enjoy being married. So let's try our best to work on this marriage. And secondly, let's love with sobriety. Yeah? Women love hook, line, and sinker. I think because I talk to young women a lot, let's encourage younger women to love with some level of sobriety. Okay, use your brain while at it. Don't just lose yourself into the marriage and you just die in session. Come on, let's try and just keep your head good to fall down over here. Okay, then when you fall literally on your head in pain. Okay, let's really have something sobriety. What do you think, Pastor?
Absolutely, you have to be sober. Oh, and what an amazing conversation. Laimani Bedalin, Jerry Mosheri, Reverend Kathy Kuna, and Kendi Ashitiva. Thank you so much, ladies, for your time this evening. I hope you've been inspired. Please continue talking to the ladies. Their respective Twitter handles are on our Twitter platform on @Citizen TV Kenya. Please continue asking them questions. Forward your questions to them. They all have respective platforms where they can talk to you, where you can reach them, follow them, and you will be able to access them for even more. Thanks for watching. That's all the time we had. Good night.